People don't know what it feels like to feel well. They think that having headaches or diarrhea or they're not digesting well or, they can't sleep, they have bad energy. Everyone thinks that's normal.
It's become their normal. I mean, it's the issue with chronic ailments and illnesses now. It's why, it's really frustrating because Western medicine was developed for an acute problem. So you had something that medicine would heal. And now we've come into this age of chronic ailments that you can't just put a Band-Aid on, because then it's going to give you some other ailment on top of it. And it's really figuring out the root, which is why my mom and I are so passionate about functional medicine and what I'm currently studying. It's so great because there is such a lack of awareness about it, or just people, it's become their normal. And they've just you deal with it. Yeah. It's like, I have headaches and you deal with it. Or I don't get that, I don't sleep that well. It's just how I am. Mm-hmm. Or every time I eat, I get bloated. It's how my body is. And it's just so crazy that people just don't want to know why. Mm-hmm. And they just get comfortable. And
they don't want to know why, I think, for a lot of the reasons, because they don't want to know why. They don't want the answer that's going to make them the weird girl that has to ask about the gluten in the sauce.
Or they just don't want to have to take that it's like an extra effort.
Right.
Or what happens too a lot of times is doctors are just like, well, you can take this. And so it's like, well, my doctor said I can just take this. And it's like their crutch of like really getting to the root of their problem. And it's not, it's getting more widely accepted to like work with naturopaths and nutritionists and help trying to figure out like the layers. It's not like one size fits all. That's really what we founded Curry Girl's Kitchen on, is to help people figure out what works for you and what your version of healthy is, because you say healthy is so general, and what might be healthy for somebody is harmful for me or you, and it's figuring out what works for your body. And it's like that, they're all now like bio-individualization in terms of health and wellness, and that's how it should be. Yeah. That should be the norm, and it's not. And so that's why a lot of people get caught up in it's just what it is, and go on with it, because they don't want to have to take the effort to change. Mm-hmm. I feel like we're creatures of habit. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not going to get you healthy by any means. Okay, so tell me about this functional medicine thing you're doing.
So functional medicine is basically, the way I describe it is just that. If you have an issue and you go in to see a doctor, a normal Western doctor is going to say, okay, here's this supplement or this drug I can give you for this issue, but it might cause X, Y, and Z. And if so, then come back and I can give you another drug to help with this. And then you're going to take this for the rest of your life. Whereas if you go see a functional doctor, they're going to look at everything in your life. They're going to ask you about how your relationships are. How's your sleep? How's your stress? Do you exercise? Have you been somewhere lately that you could have been exposed to something that could have triggered this new symptom that you're dealing with? Has it been a buildup of something over time? Like, did you have other symptoms that could have then led to this? So it's like a whole health history to figure out what works for you. And they're not opposed, they're not opposed to all Western medicine. Like, there are certain things that you absolutely need that medicine for. It serves a purpose. However, I'm not in the realm of believing that you need one medicine for the rest of your life. That just doesn't feel right to me, Mm-hmm. And I know there are cases of that, but depending on what it is, that shouldn't be the norm, right. Mm-hmm. So functional doctors are utilizing other lifestyle and dietary techniques and really creating this new form of medicine, which is, I think, the answer to a lot of people's prayers right now.
And what's the program you're doing to learn about it?
So the program I'm in right now is the Functional Medicine Coaching Academy. It is backed by the Institute of Functional Medicine, and we were introduced to it through Dr. Mark Hyman, who endorses it, does a lot of talks for it, and is a real pioneer in functional medicine. He's head of Cleveland Clinic, and the studies and the documentaries and the books that he's coming out with that really show what a huge part diet plays in our life and our health is amazing. I mean, the old saying of you are what you eat truly plays a role in this. Like, that is how you are. If you're eating processed, fast, sugary foods, you're not going to feel that great. However, if you're eating a whole, well-rounded, colorful diet, you're going to feel vibrant like the food you're eating. So it's, and not to say that doesn't just happen overnight. It takes time, especially when you've created these habits or these ways of living your life. I think that's probably the hardest thing to change is habits. It's what is going to motivate you to continue doing that, and what really is sustainable for you. And that's what a coach does, is that you go and see your doctor, but I mean, it's not like you're seeing your doctor every week.
Yeah.
So you go and see
who
your,
can afford that,
right?
Especially functional medicine doctors.
Because they're not covered by insurance. You have, it's all out of pocket. They're seen as like specialty doctors, or it's really infuriating. And so what a coach does is they'll work with your functional doctor to provide that support for your success. Wow. Which is, I mean, if I had the ability to work with somebody like that when I was younger in high school, that wasn't my mom, wasn't a doctor, that I could relate to and have that support, I feel like I would have been happier with my health a lot earlier.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. And now I want to do that program. So you're going to have to tell me everything after we're done
Yes,
filming.
I'm loving it.
Because I think education is the biggest part, and I'm really into Ayurveda, and it's, this ancient healing. People our age don't talk about that kind of stuff, especially from the United States. It's from India. Yeah. And it's just not commonplace, and neither is functional medicine yet. And for me, it's all about, especially with young women and the rate of Hashimoto's and all these autoimmune problems, you have to have people that relate, that get it, and that you will hear, and it will resonate with you.
Oh, I first heard about Ayurveda, I think, again, because of the way my mom raised me. She taught yoga, and that's very common in that community, is like knowing your doshas, or your, like, are you like kapha, pitta, I forget the last one. And
no, I'm forgetting.
Yeah, it's like kapha, pitta, and vata.
Vata, there you
yes.
go.
And so those are like, are you airy? Are you earth? Are you
are you fire?
Fire, yeah. And so like those, to really understand like how to feed your body based on those elements. Mm-hmm. And it's body type, like just what your genetic makeup may be. And so when I did my first health coaching program through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, I learned a lot about that. And I remember being fascinated because I remember there's certain, my mom used to make these teas and these herbs that when I was not feeling well that would help. Mm-hmm. And so I was brought up with that. And then once I moved to Boulder and really got into the yoga community there, it was a lot more prevalent. And then when I came back here 6 or 7 years ago, and I was kind of talking about that I'd become vegetarian, I was eating a lot of plant-based, and it wasn't common. People were like, what is Ayurveda? Khichdi. Yeah. What is khichdi? And now I think it's what's so amazing about social media, and now we have this access to all of these other lifestyle healers, and I mean, medicine that's been around for thousands of years, that people don't just have one source to look to now. They can go towards other things. And I really feel like that's developed over the past 5 or so years. I mean, since social media has gotten a lot more prevalent.
Yeah, there's definitely more access out there, and people are able to see.